Hey everyone, MTash here, and Destiny 2 just set a record for the 24-hour peak of concurrent players in-game. There has never been a time where more players have been logged in and playing on Steam ever. And if you extrapolate, that probably happened on consoles as well. Maybe not, but probably. Lightfall seems like an insane success, like truly. I got lured back by the trailers. I looked at the trailers. I was like, my boys, my gamers, this looks good. I'm going to play it. I'm going to be in love. And I'm having quite a bit of fun. But the community is kind of raging right now. And I wanted to talk about it. On Destiny, I know that the Destiny subreddit can be pretty angry, okay? Very angry. But almost every single post is upset with Lightfall, saying that the story was weak, that Nimbus was cringe, that the Strand subclass, the brand new subclass, I mean, people have been excited about Strand for a while. People are saying it sucks, or it's clunky, or the cooldowns are too long, or we have to wait till the raids to even use this properly because we can't get the fragments. There's a lot of different complaints coming out from the Destiny subreddit. Content creators, regular players, there's a lot of people that are upset about this, and I understand where some of it's coming from. I'm having a lot of fun. And as someone that, has taken a step away, I wonder if maybe because it's really fresh to me and because, just the gameplay is more fun for me than the average person because I have had such a break. I wonder if maybe my judgment of the DLC is a little bit different. But I think that a lot of the players that are veterans that have been grinding this game and obsessed with this game for the last few years, story really, 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 really matters. And a lot of people are let down by the story. How can we go an entire 9 years? Let me just zoom in on that. Hello? Zoom in, thank you. How can we go an entire 9 years to the penultimate chapter and still have a story that doesn't explain any of its own moving parts? Basically, vanilla Destiny 1 Campaign 2.0. A lot of people thought that a lot of the questions would be answered in Lightfall. And a lot of people are leaving with more questions now that it's done. I don't want to do any spoilers in case you haven't finished it, but I understand where they're coming from. Getting to play the entire story with fast charging grapple, only to unlock Strand and discover that the fastest cooldown you can get is almost a minute, feels like shiitake mushrooms. Absolutely. Even if you look at the melee of something like the Warlock, you've got these little darts you're sending out. It takes forever to get those back. And you've got 3 charges of it. Unless you're using some sort of exotic to give you multiple charges, or there's some combos going on with the fragments, you're never going to have 3 charges, almost ever. When the final shake comes out, can we not spend 2/3 of the campaign learning the new subclass? This was a very big one that I also felt during the campaign. Again, I don't want to spoil everything that happened, but the Witness is here. Callus is here. Like, bro, I want to see that constantly. I want to hear the thoughts of, Zavala. I want to know the thoughts of some of the other Vanguard. And it was like they were MIA. They were just like chilling back at home. I understand it's a new story. And I understand that there's some new characters being introduced. But while we're on the topic, why and how, after Forsaken, Shadowkeep, and Beyond Light, have we returned to this absolutely cringe dialogue? This is something that, I wanted to talk about. Nimbus opens mouth, dies of cringe. A lot of people are saying that Nimbus is cringe. They are just not funny. And, again, I don't know how much of the campaign you've done, but I will just say this. When a very big thing happens that you would think would impact everyone, Nimbus is just like, crazy, dude! Whoa! Like, doesn't even really react to some of the crazy stuff that just happened. And it's a weird disconnect. And I understand sometimes you want to have comedic relief. Sometimes you want someone joking in the middle of a movie. But a lot of the writing was very like Marvel or Borderlands style to an extent, but not funny. Like they threw up a bunch of jokes, and Nimbus wasn't funny in almost any of them. And I don't know. They introduced these new what were they? Cloud surfers? I don't even remember. Honestly, I felt like they were really forgettable. I had almost no connection to them, and I was really surprised with their character models. They look terrible. And I don't know. I think that they could have done a lot better there. No spoilers, but this story could have easily been told in a seasonal model. I can't believe this is where we're starting off the final act of Destiny. Now, that's an interesting one because maybe with the seasonal models, we'll learn more. But I would say that the campaign ends on a bit of a cliffhanger and a kind of a, huh? And now I want to know more, but potentially having to wait a year to find it out is a little scary. And the other thing too is, this is a DLC. There's definitely story beats that happen during the seasons, but some of the seasons are a little, a la carte. You don't have to get the seasons. And so, are they going to solve what happens with the Witness? Or what happens with Callus? Or some of these other big story points? Are they going to solve that in a season? Maybe, but I don't know. Nimbus's writing is god-awful. They talk like Thor and Ragnarok. It's completely tone-deaf, considering the circumstances. That's kind of what I said before. This should be a wake-up call to Bungie. This is a big one that I thought was really funny. The Lightfall marketing team needs a raise. Hey, they got me. I'm having fun. I got lured in. 300,000 other people got lured in. This is the biggest DLC ever. But there seems to be unanimous upset. People aren't liking Strand. People aren't liking the story. People think that the city is empty. They think that the city is boring. There's a few players that are having a lot of fun. But here's another one. Let's take a look at this one. Was I the only one thinking we'd be playing amongst skyscrapers and not a miniature dull set city? I found that because of the neural cloud, the veil, all these different things, the city does feel empty. And even if you look at enemy density, unless that public event is going on, it does feel very empty some of the times. It just seems like you're walking through the streets and it's a dead city. And technically, I don't want to get into all the lore there, but it didn't have a very interesting vibe to me a lot of the time. It was one of my least enjoyed exploration spaces there's ever been. And, you're seeing all these different things. Did Bungie release the wrong build? As someone who doesn't normally post critiques of expansions or hop on bandwagons, let me click on this one because I actually read through this one and I thought that this was a really awesome post on Reddit. The writing is tone deaf. I don't want to go, too deep in everything because some of them we covered. Despite this being the second to last expansion, we got no narrative revelations. Osiris has been written like a petulant child and is a chore to listen to. Nimbus is an exhaustion trope. Rohan is equally tropey. Nearly every piece of gear in the expansion is a reskinned moon / Season of the Lost gear. Now, I haven't seen every piece of gear, but interesting to say that. The entire narrative feels rushed. Strand is mediocre at best in base form, which isn't helped by time-gated fragments. Absolutely. You get this powerful thing, and then you go and you want to play with it, and it doesn't function properly. But honestly, I'll give you my quick thoughts on this as well. Oh, actually, no, do you know what? Let's go. Neo Muna is dead, for sure. Armor Mods 3.0 feels like Armor Mods 0.1. Build crafting feels meaningless. It feels dead. It feels watered down. So that's true. And I'll get into the build crafting stuff here in a little bit. But I want to talk about Strand. I think that the grapple hook is a gimmick and does not feel very good. I feel like the angles you swing at and the speed you swing at, I do not think that long term it'll get a lot of use. I think that the better that PvP players get, the less it'll get used. And I truly don't think that it holds a candle right now to a lot of the other classes. And when I was doing the Legendary campaign solo, every time I had to use Strand, I was like, uh-oh, the difficulty's about to skyrocket because my Void build was just so much better. I'm blowing everything up. I'm hucking grenades. It's easy. I got no problems. But with Strand, I was like, oh God, I can't heal myself. I don't have a grenade now. I can grapple, but then I'm going into the fray. It doesn't connect with me. And the harder the difficulty of content, the worse Strand will be. Are you seriously gonna lasso in and melee some of these Nightfall enemies that are literally gonna one-bang you? And I'll tell you the other thing. Here's the other big one. I understand that contest modifiers aren't always in the game. I guarantee you 0% of people, unless they're forced, 0% of people will play Strand in the raid. After contest modifier, I'm sure that changes. But my biggest thing when I do the raid race is say, I yell this to my team, don't melee anything. Do not do it. You will die. Because they are so tanky, these enemies on contest, and they hit so hard with melees, all of them do, that if you melee an enemy, you're probably going to die. It doesn't matter if they've got this much health or this much. And I just can't imagine lassoing in and engaging that way is going to be a safe route for anyone, ever. So I'm not really loving Strand myself. Some stuff happens with the Witness, but I truly believe the story was going to be completely different. When I came in, it was like, I'm taking out Callus. I'm taking out the Witness. This is my time. I'm going to save the world. And I'm just going to say right now, I do not feel like that. I do not feel like I achieved what I expected. Maybe the raid is going to have a crazy lore dump. I don't know. But I feel kind of like, ah! So, that's something there. Glad. Day one hot takes. The campaign was fun. Simplified mod system. Some people like that, some don't. Nimbus is fun. Someone likes Nimbus. UI is tight. Strand movement is fun. Negatives. The campaign was easy. Strand negatively impacted campaign. Fair. Neo Muna is meh. Builds seem more limited. Strand can't compete. Agreed. Dado. Unsure how to feel right now about the Lightfall at the moment. Gameplay-wise, I still enjoyed it. But there's some campaign things not done as well as Witch Queen. Need some time to think about it before I, give my full opinions. There was a lot of negativity about this DLC so far. And I haven't seen anyone share like a cool gun or like a cool exotic or like, I found this thing. It's almost resounding negativity at this point. I'm having fun. I found a couple things that I'm excited about. And I'll show them off eventually when I get a better roll. I see some potential in some of the weapons. But as someone who's going in, fresh, I wonder, is my opinion skewed because I'm feeling so fresh and I'm not burnt out on the game? Was it worse than, maybe I'm feeling? I don't know. But the community doesn't seem happy. I think that Destiny is going to succeed long term, and unless this number here rapidly deteriorates, I think they're doing pretty damn good, right? If I refresh this, maybe it'll refresh this. Not quite, but I mean, this is still pretty good numbers overall. I just don't know if they'll keep it. And how good is the raid? I think that if you're a player that took a break, maybe you're a new player that is wondering if the Lightfall DLC is worth it, I'm not sure at this moment. But unless you're a raider or interested in dungeons down the road, I'm sure there'll be some. I would be careful with this DLC at the cost and the price point it's at, because right now it's not doing good. At least not in the eyes of the community.